What's up, guys? It's Ben with 2020 elections predictions, and today I'm going to be doing part two of my female Republicans in the Senate and kind of talk about how they're vulnerable. And I'm going to start out with looking at why I believe each of these senators are in these categories in terms of uh, do their Senate seats lean towards the Democrats or do they lean towards the GOP? And before I get into that, I just wanted to remind you about my new giveaway, my race to 500 subscribers. It's a little over 10 days away, but I just want to please tell your friends and family and subscribe if you're watching this if you haven't already. Okay, so just moving into our video today. First of all, we have Sydney Hyde-Smith. She only won by 5 to 6 points in 2018 in the special election, and she's on the ballot again in 2020. Uh, Real Clear Politics, they have this race as a likely GOP, and other projections have it as kind of a lean GOP or likely GOP. I think with President Trump on the ballot and her being a Republican incumbent, I expect her to win this state by 10 plus points, maybe 10 to 15 points. Donald Trump will likely outperform her in Mississippi just because he's very, very popular. And Sydney Hyde-Smith does have controversy surrounding her, but I do not think that the Democrats will spend a lot of money in this seat, and definitely with President Trump on the ballot, it will help Sydney Hyde-Smith just because they will vote. A lot of voters will vote Republican down the line. So next up is Joni Ernst. I consider this seat as a lean GOP seat. The Democrats are going to try tooth and nail to try to get this seat. Joni Ernst is not a very popular senator right now. I think she's in the top five most unpopular senators currently, which is uh, not good for her. However, Trump won Iowa by 8 points, and she even won Iowa by 10 points in 2014. And I expect Donald Trump to win Iowa by 4 to 5 points. And I expect Joni Ernst to do about the same. Maybe she'll underperform Donald Trump by 1 or 2 points, but still, I think it'll be enough to keep the seat. So I don't think Republicans should be too concerned about losing this seat in Iowa. But also, I mean, I think it will look really bad if the Republicans lose like three or four uh, seats that have females sitting in them, because then their numbers will just drop tremendously. So I think they should invest a lot in Iowa just to make sure to keep it solid. So next up is Susan Collins, and this state is a pure toss-up, I think. Every projection I've seen has labeled this as a pure toss-up. Even um, no projection is willing to label this as a tilt GOP or tilt Democrats. There was a recent poll that had the Democratic challenger up, but also there's been polls that have Susan Collins in the lead. Obviously, I think that Joe Biden holds a small advantage in Maine, but as we've seen in 2014, in 2008, 2002, and 1996, Susan Collins is very tough politically and has won. Like in 2008, she won by a very strong margin when Barack Obama won the state of Maine by a very strong margin. Obviously, the country is a lot more politicized now, and in like 2016, no state voted for a different senator that voted for the same party on the presidential level, and this trend could repeat itself. However, I think Susan Collins could do it. Right now, it's a pure toss up. So next up is Martha McSally. She is right now down in the polls to Mark Kelly by anywhere between 7 to 12 points. I think there's even a poll that had her like losing by like 13 to 15 points. A lot of some projections, Real for Politics has this as a toss up just because Arizona has been a Republican state in the past. However, I do not see Martha McSally winning this race. I think it'll be close with President Trump on the ballot. I frankly don't even know if President Trump is going to win Arizona. I think it's a pure toss up on the presidential level, but on the Senate level, just because Mark Kelly is so popular, former astronaut, and Martha McSally, frankly, is not. A lot of people were angry that the governor appointed her senator when she lost in 2018. I just do not see Martha McSally just making this huge huge comeback. I thought she could have won in 2018 against Kristen Sinema, but that was her best chance. She lost by 3 points to Kristen Sinema. I think she's going to lose by way more than 3 points in 2020, but we will see. Um, Kelly Wolford is the most vulnerable incumbent female Republican senator. I just want to clarify this is not a likely Democratic seat. I just kind of did this just because that's how it was set up. But I'm going to do a full video on this later, but she is likely to be replaced by Doug Collins in a jungle primary. He is a Republican congressman who is the head of the impeachment trial to defend President Trump in the House. And she has been part of the scandal, kind of like the insider trading scandal. And she's not a very charismatic figure. She was appointed by Governor Kemp. I do not think she could have gotten through a primary if Governor Kemp had not appointed her. And Doug Collins is very, very popular in the state of Georgia. So it appears that Kemp's attempt to appoint a female Republican senator in Georgia has failed. And I don't even know if the National Republican Senatorial Committee will fundraise for Kelly Wolford. They did a lot say in the past that we want Kelly Wolford to be the nominee. But Doug Collins is just ahead in the polls so much that I think they will kind of back off and just let Doug Collins take the seat. And then the other one that it's not even really worth mentioning, it's just so safe for the GOP, Shelley Moore Capito. This is a safe GOP seat. Joe Manchin, he's just kind of he is the exception to the rule. West Virginia, I think, voted for Donald Trump by the largest margin of any state in terms of percentage. And Shelley Moore Capito is very popular and doesn't have any scandal around her, so she will keep the seat. So why this matters? Um, Simply, it's basically because of identity politics, and I really don't buy into identity politics. I think that anyone, regardless of their race, age, or gender, should be able to do whatever. No one is more qualified just based on their race or gender. I think that's racist or sexist to imply. But in the media and kind of in this new age of politics, we're seeing identity politics playing a huge role. And I do agree that the optics of different things will play a huge impact, and as politics becomes more like reality TV, they will play more of a role. And as suburban women are shifting towards the Democrats, and I think part of the reason is because you have the leader of the party, Donald Trump. He's kind of rambunctious. He's had a lot of these scandals with women. I mean, he's called women, like, remember with Megyn Kelly in the debates, like fat pigs, blah, 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 blah. And I just do not think this reflects well in the Republican Party. A lot of moderate Republican women, especially in the suburbs, are kind of disgusted by these comments and are considering moving towards the Democratic Party. And when we talk about Donald Trump's base, it's kind of this like white working class men, and like I think the Republicans should ask the question: are females part of his base? And I think a lot of people, kind of the stereotype, would say no, and they should work on how can we get females back part of Donald Trump's or just the Republican Party's base. And I think that the need to have female senators on the Republican side was most evident during the Kavanaugh trials. So obviously, Kavanaugh was charged with, or he was accused of like sexual misconduct when he was back in high school. And this was kind of more part of the Me Too movement. And also, kind of the undercurrent under everything in the Kavanaugh hearing was abortion. And on the Senate Judiciary Committee, it was all males. And this is a picture that came from Google Images. This is kind of the Handmaid's Tales and like in a trial. And it's kind of a comparison saying, like, look, all these Republican men, most of them are white. It's not good optics. And they had to bring in a female prosecutor to question Christine Blasey Ford just because it would look so bad on TV to have these men just questioning the integrity of Christine Blasey Ford. And I think this was a huge wake up call among Republicans and Mitch McConnell that we need to have female U.S. senators. We need to have that descriptive representation so that females feel like they're represented by the Republican Party. Because females, obviously, they vote at higher rates than males. So obviously, they're going to be the future, whether they like it or not. Um, and so I think that's very, very interesting. And it's why Republicans should care about having female representation in Congress. So thank y'all for watching this video. If you did like this video, please subscribe. Tell me in the comments, like the video, and watch other videos on my channel. And please share this link with friends and tell your friends and family to watch. I'm really trying to grow. And if you didn't like this video, please comment what you didn't like, comment suggestions for future videos, and still subscribe. Obviously, I'm going to give $25 to 5 of my lucky subscribers by June 10th. So you definitely want to be part of